Then Jesus will say to those on his right, "Come, you are blessed by my Father. Take your inheritance, the kingdom prepared for you since the creation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me. I needed clothes, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you looked after me. I was in prison, and you came to visit me." And Jesus will say, "I tell you the truth. Whatever you did for one of the least of my brothers of mine, you did for me." This is from Matthew 25. So clothing the naked. Do you long, as I long, to look out into the world and know that all we are doing are these very things for Christ? We are clothing God. We are loving him when we do this unto the least of our brothers. Christ suffered to the last drop of his blood, left alone and despised in complete poverty. And he hears the cry of the poor, for he was there on the cross in poverty. He thirsted not for water on the cross, but for our love and for our sacrifices. So do these little things with great love. We were sent here to be carriers of God's love. And we may think that all of these things are little things, and that no matter what, God made all these little things, and he made these little things so great. He just swooped down and made all these little things. He created them just to let us know that his love for us and to give us this opportunity to prove our love to him. So let us do each of these little tiny things with great love. What beautiful sacrificial ways can we be as one body of believers to show the love of God at Shepherd of the Woods and to be that light of Christ to him by just being clothing to other people. Each year, our quilting ministry provides us nearly 100 quilts for Lutheran World Relief, as well as prayer quilts for those struggling with health issues that are sending messages that you are simply not alone. When my sister was given a quilt, when Miss Jackie was given a quilt, when many of our members were given a quilt due to their health issues, they are simply given this message of hope that they are simply not alone. One set of hands cuts the square, one community of hands binds them, and one mission continues. What a message of hope when the quilt reaches with a strong message that hope is here. Maybe it's to hold a baby on a mother's back. Maybe it's to shield against the cold and the rain in a third world country. Maybe for warm bedding, or maybe to clothe one that is ill and suffering and needs to know that hand of God, and they know that those hands are wrapped around them. How many quilts have gone out to either those we know and love or those we will never see in life, but know they are cared for? Or how about those ministries for our children? The uniforms. A child in Peru, or even here at our day school, clothes them. How it touches my heart. Our 5 for 5 program gives a backpack of food to a child that may have otherwise go home for a weekend or a week without anything to eat. And I've seen those children firsthand. And those children here in Jacksonville, and those children in Peru. The backpack providing dignity when they go to school. I relay a story to you about 2 children, Alexandria and Homer, when we went to Peru. And I was going off to play my violin in a corner of the church, and the children all came up for the children's ministry. And I hope I can say this without crying. These blessed children came, the poorest of the poor. And they were such blessed little children. And they all came, and there was a little child who, she didn't hardly have the clothes on her back. Holes in her clothes. Her nose was running. She was sick, and she didn't have a place to sit. So I motioned for her to come over and to sit beside me. And she motioned for her brother to come over, and there was no more room. And so I was going to give up my seat for Alexandria. But she wanted a place for her brother, so I motioned for her to come to sit on the edge of my lap, and I thought, I hope this doesn't make her uncomfortable to come sit here, but it's the only space left. And she looked at me with the biggest, brightest smile, and her eyes lit up. And she had God in her heart, I could tell. And she motioned for her brother to sit beside her. I don't know if these children had a uniform, and I would doubt that they did. I wonder what their day might have been like. I wonder what it would have been like for Alexandria and Homer in their homes, left by their parents probably for the day so they could go work wherever they worked, and these children to be left alone in the streets. If they didn't have a uniform, they can't go to school. And if you can provide one uniform for a child, you can provide for that child to go to school. You can provide that for them. I'm sorry. Angel Aid supports our children, and it's supported it since 1984. These are children who are critically ill, homeless, abused, and some that are in life-threatening situations. Every year we provide thousands of pieces of clothing and blankets and towels and linens that have been donated through garage sales to our Angel Aid ministry. So check your closets out this evening. When you go for the spring break that's coming up, kids, look in your closets and just see, is there something I can give to another child? And we'll be taking those to Peru. We'll be taking those to people all over. The youth group has sorted hundreds of pounds of clothing, shoes, linens, etc., donated to the city rescue missions, which exists simply to transform the lives of homeless and the needy. It serves them through the love and compassion of Jesus Christ. Our Clara White ministry is another local ministry that youth have ministered for years. Clothing donations can also go there, as well as furniture for our overseas service people that come back and need help. We provide clothing for those at the Mission House in Jax, and migrant workers in Hastings. Angel Aid, and even a few gowns have gone to the Pace Center for our girls, a home that provides programs for helping at-risk girls realize brighter and more productive futures. When I worked at a school for alternative children, I also saw this firsthand in North Carolina, how important it is for these children to understand the love of Christ and that someone cares and will clothe them. Please take the time to pray about how you can share the love for God in supporting the vision of missions throughout your time, your talent, and your treasures that are tools for God. Pray for us as a congregation to fully acknowledge the image of God in all people by providing those things that can show the love of Christ through our stewardship. Know that Christ thirsts for us and experience that suffering for all people. Help us to show joy and be his light in someone's darkness. Allow God to say, "Come, O blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom that's prepared for you for the foundation of the world, and let us be a blessing and be blessed by blessing others." Please consider supporting our vision for missions.